Welcome to Season 3 of The Biz Show, sponsored by InvestQuire. Discover what's next with this insightful podcast. And now, your hosts, Barry and Lisa.
Good morning, Lisa. How are you?
Morning, good morning. Hi, Barry. I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing great. Sorry you ran out of coffee. What are you going to do now?
I guess I have to hit Starbucks after this appointment with you is over.
Yeah, well, we got an appointment after this one too.
Yes, that's what I meant. The other appointment.
The other appointment, yes.
This isn't work. What we're doing, we just have fun, right?
We're having a blast, man. It isn't work. It's just having fun.
Right.
Hanging out
I'm
with a good friend, having a conversation about business, and then we'll talk to a client in just a little bit.
That's right. Happy Saturday.
Yes, we are recording this on Saturday, aren't we?
Normally we do Friday mornings, but you
Ooh.
had a doctor's appointment.
Yeah, those get in the way sometimes.
Yeah, Saturday works just as well. So
It
that's
does.
good to see you, Barry.
Well, listen, this is, we're season 3. This is episode 20 of season 3.
Yeah, we're already there, huh?
So right now we're 60, 80, we're 90 episodes for the Biz Show.
I know that is so cool. I love it.
And by the way, I checked our stats and everything, and we're up to 32,000 listeners.
Wow, I thought it was just like 22 last week.
It was 28
Oh my
before.
gosh.
So last week we had Noel on, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
And that Monday, we had 22,000 or 2,200 listeners on Monday, and then we had 1,200 listeners on Tuesday.
Okay, interesting. So it does um, make a difference when we have a speaker, right? Everybody wants to tune in and see what they have to say.
Everybody's looking, how do I make money for my company? Or how do I raise money for my company? So our last few episodes have really been about raising capital for your company, right?
Right.
And this one is kind of the same, but it's a little bit different, right? This isn't necessarily about raising capital for your company, but what it is about startup incubators, right? And specifically, there's two main ones out there. I'm sure everybody's heard of Y Combinator and Techstars. And then you can go about it yourself. And there's a few other things that we'll talk about as well. But
Yeah, we're
so
gonna right now, right? We're gonna cover the differences and how they work and
Yeah. And let's real quick just talk about what in the world is an incubator, right? A startup incubator, right? So basically, an incubator is a structured program that helps and supports early stage startups by offering mentorship, seed funding, workspace, resources, and access to their investor network.
right.
So, I
So
mean, these are things as a startup, you probably don't have any of these, right? Everybody needs a coach and mentor. I even have a coach and mentor, right? And in business, sometimes, and I think that we're kind of almost at the same level, but then again, there's times I think, no, this guy knows way more than I do. So,
who's your coach? I didn't even know that you had one.
yes, I do. His name's Anthony,
Oh, nice. Oh, that's awesome.
not your son.
Well, I think I think when you do have a coach or mentor, they're learning alongside you. So it's kind of a reciprocal relationship.
Well, that's something that we talked about in the past, right? Him and I.
Yeah.
And it's like we learn from each other now, because that's why I said I kind of think now we're evened out, but we always learn each other and we're always bouncing ideals off of one another, and we always make each other think about, okay, well, did you look at this? Did you look at that? Did you look at this angle? Did you look at that angle? So it works out well.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's how you want it to flow. It's
Right.
amazing.
So the incubators typically they run in 3 months to 6 months. Most of them are 3 months. Um, And then they have at the end of this what they call a demo day. And the demo day is basically the pitch day, right? The startups then pitch their business to the investor network.
So cool. Yeah. So it doesn't take very long to get to that point. That's an exciting place to be.
It's definitely advanced, right? And when I say structured, I do mean in structured. Um, there are, I mean, basically, you need to show up every day because if you don't, you're going to miss stuff. And maybe there's something about accounting, or maybe there's some new stuff about sales, or maybe a vendor has come in to speak to the startups about a particular product or software package that can help them run their business and give them a special deal like 6 months for free or something like that, right?
Yeah, so it pretty much moves along very quickly.
It moves fast. So, but anyways, so how does it work?
So how
So
does it work? There's some applications, right?
there's an application process, and typically less than 5% get
Will get
in.
accepted.
Right.
Yeah. So it's very,
It's limited to space,
mhm.
right? One of the things that I don't necessarily like about the ones that are out there is they do batch programs, meaning they're going to partner you up with 3 to 5 other companies, and you guys work as a group together. So there's no real individuality in this, and and, and that's kind of frustrating.
Because then you're learning along the pace of others and having to, share your time with others. So you're feeling maybe a little bit frustrated. It could be a frustrating process, right? Doing that as a group.
It is, especially if you're not picking up on the topic very well, and everyone else has moved on, and you're still struggling to figure that out. But then again, it also encourages you then to hook up with those ones that understand it and have them help bring you up to speed. Hopefully,
Yeah. But of course, that the positive is that you're getting the development support on the daily basis and you're able to get some guidance with the accounting and being able to pitch or learn how to pitch your product, right? They're going to be coaching you how to do that so that it's successful for you.
yeah. If you remember, I think 2 episodes back, I'd mentioned the when you're doing a pitch and when you're talking to investors, if you want to shut them off and make them walk out the door fast, tell them you're going to use their money for marketing and advertising, right?
Right.
They're going to walk out the door because they know they're just flushing their money down the toilet at that point.
Right.
Right. So, and those are things that you'll learn, right? So you want to steer. I mean, yes, you might have some marketing, but they're going to be more interested in like organic marketing and stuff like that. You can do, I would say, probably 15% of marketing and advertising, and then the 85% is going to be organic. So how do they make their money? Well, the ones that are out there today, right? They charge uh, a fee to get in, typically, right? So there's some type of upfront fee that you might pay, and it varies depending on the industry you're in. It could be $25,000, it could be $50,000. And then they're going to take a equity stake in your company, right? So, for instance, if you are looking for funding just for $100,000, they're going to take 5% of your company.
Mhm.
Which, okay, that's fine. 5% is not much. You still get 95%, right?
Is
And
that
that
negotiable, Barry? Can you negotiate with them? Or is
of
it pretty much
course.
set in stone?
Well,
Yeah.
some of them are set in stone, but to me, even if it's set in stone, I still, and I know you too, we always look to negotiate, right?
Right. Yes.
So, um,
So I
yeah.
guess
So,
it's,
anyways, they're going to take 5 to 7%,
yeah.
and they might charge you fees. And as well, there might be investor network fees and sponsorships and stuff like that that might get involved. And I don't really like that stuff. To me, it's penny pitching, and it's really nickel and diming somebody. So I have different ideas, and we'll talk about that at the end of this. But um, so who are the big ones out there? Right? There's 2 major ones.
Yeah. So you mentioned Y Combinator, or they call them YCs.
Yeah, YC. So Y Combinator, right? And that's the biggest. And they were founded in 2025. I'm sorry, 2005,
2025, 2005. And they're
2005,
from
right?
Silicon Valley, California.
Yeah, that's where it kind of got started, right?
Yeah. And
Um,
who's their number one?
Well, so they have a
Right.
lot of alumni, right? Their Airbnb came out of there. So did Dropbox,
So
Stripe,
cool.
and Reddit. So what do they
Big
offer?
names. Yeah.
They offer, well, as I mentioned, they can offer up to $500,000 and a safe investment. Let's talk about that. We haven't really talked about a safe investment. I like safe investments. Some investors like safe investments because there's a couple different things, right? First of all, safe stands for um, simple arrangement for future equity, meaning we're not going to evaluate the company today. There's no price on the company. It's zero, right? And it's going to stay zero until we get funding. And then at that point, that's when the safe will kick in, and then that early investor will get, some type of a percentage or a buyout of their money that they've invested, so on and so forth. The good thing about the safe investments is the fact that there's no interest involved, right? It's not like a convertible note. Convertible note, if it's $100,000, you're paying taxes on those $100,000,
Mm.
right? So a safe is not, because there's no dollar assigned to it yet. And
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of things. We could have one podcast just on talking about safe.
Right. We should.
Well, we could go there, but it's boring. Right? I mean, if you're into investment and stuff like that, then maybe not for you. But for a lot of founders, I find that, it can go over the top of their head really fast.
Yeah.
But
Well,
the
that's okay.
bottom line is, if you are a startup, you should always look at a safe investment.
Hmm.
And I said, there's risk involved for the investors because, the risk is going to be, if you don't fund, right?
Right.
If you don't fund, or if you don't raise a round, then they're not going to get paid.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, we can go into those later. So, but they offer up to $500,000, right? And if you want more than 125, it's 7% equity. Um, they have thousands and thousands of funders in or founders. I'm sorry, founders in their network, and a lot of alumni also turn around and reinvest and stuff like that. And then they also have access to a large amount of investors. So,
Yeah, it's very cool.
so the pros on this, it's
Hmm.
big, it's massive,
Yeah.
right? It's easy for VC follow-up funding, meaning after you're in this and you graduate and you come out and you pitch it, you might get your seed or whatever, or your round A, but after that, the VCs are going to sit at the table and listen to you. You know my take on VCs though, so sharks.
Yes.
And then demo days do attract top investors. The pros on this is high pressure, right? I mean, boom, boom. You got to be there. You got to be present every day. You just got to be, you're working 10-hour days and you're just really pushing and learning as much as you can and trying to get your business to a certain level. Um, Unfortunately, it's, as I mentioned above, you're pushed in with like three, four, five other companies. So it's a group effort, right?
Hmm.
And then you're giving up equity early.
Right. So that could be considered a negative, but it's worth it in the end.
Well, yeah, it is. And if it's only 7%, that's only 7%.
Hmm.
So what's the other one, Lisa?
So the next one we're talking about is Techstars. They were
Yeah.
founded right around the same time in 2006, and they're
Uh-huh.
from Boulder, Colorado.
Right. And they have 50 different programs globally. So I
Right.
like that, the fact that they've expanded, right? And they're not just one location in Silicon Valley. They're headquartered in Boulder, but they got places all over the place. And they'll offer seed rounds of $20,000 and up to $100,000 on a convertible note
Take 6%.
at 6%. Now, remember, you're going to pay taxes on that 6% or on the 100,000 convertible note.
That's right. That's why it's called a note.
Every, a dollar bill is called a note, and so is a 20, and all of our cash that we use, except for the coins, are notes.
That's right.
Good catch,
Focus is
Lisa.
more community driven, and there's mentorship that's more intense than you would get in a Y Combinator, right?
Right, and that's what I really like about that,
Or
right?
one-on-one personal attention. So there's some good opportunity there for you if that's what you're looking for.
Right, exactly. You know, the cons of it, it's a kind of small, right? I shouldn't say small, but it's smaller than YC. Less VC buzz going around, and then the quality of the program can vary location to location to location, depending on who's running the program, right?
Right. But there's some good names in there, right? Amazon and Ford.
Yes, yes. So, and they're partners, and so they will potentially be investors. So let's talk about should you not use a incubator? Well, actually, before we do that, let's talk about doing it
Well,
your, let's talk
if you
about
do it
doing it
yourself, you
yourself.
don't use, yeah, if you don't use an incubator, then you're doing it yourself, right? Which a lot of people do.
Right.
There's no incubator. You don't have to give up your equity. There's other platforms that you can use, like Product Hunt and Reddit and Indie Hackers, and
Exactly.
building an
And
audience.
you are building an audience. And the thing is a lot of companies, this is what they do. However, they don't know about the tools that are available to them, like Product Hunt. Uh, Reddit is actually really good too. So I've actually am on Reddit and I answer a lot of business people's questions. They'll throw a question out on Reddit and I'll typically, if it's in my wheelhouse, I'll respond to it and say, this is what you need, boom, 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 boom. And if you need help, we're here to help at InvestQuire.
There you go. Yeah.
So and that's what probably a lot of businesses and startups do is they do the it themselves.
They do it themselves, but they get to retain 100% of their equity and have full control over what their vision is. And they could do it at their own pace, basically.
They do.
So
Eh,
it's more of a slow growing business.
It's slow growing, and they say that 80% of small businesses as startups die.
Luca,
And that's because, and this is one of the reasons why, because you're a one-man show or a couple-man show, and you just don't have the bandwidth to get everything, and you don't have the networks that you need to really get into the spots that the incubators can provide access to.
right.
So, um, but there's a lot of tools out there, and I encourage you to look at them. Lisa mentioned Product Hunt, but then there's also tools like Bubble and Webflow. Google actually has a Google for startups. You should definitely take a look at that.
Very cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to have a new player, though, right? You said somebody's coming into play as a competing incubator in 2026 or the end of 2026.
Well, let's hint about that, right? So I've mentioned in the past that we, InvestQuire, are really interested in that business and might run in that too. That said, I would take the best of both worlds of both Y uh, Combinator and Techstars and change it up some, right? They charge upfront fees. I wouldn't charge an upfront fee or anything. I might charge a small monthly fee for office space, access to the network and resources and stuff like that. And then, yeah, we would take maybe a 5% stake in the business, but we would coach and mentor them too and give them classes on marketing, sales, accounting, pitching your company, all these different things as well.
You get direct access to all of those
Yeah,
people
exactly.
under.
And direct access to you and me
Yep.
and our team and our partners as well. And then we have grown our investor um, team, if you
Resource.
will. Yeah. Our network is becoming very, very large. So
That's right.
access to that as well. So, that said, is it good for you or not good for you? That really kind of depends. And you have to ask yourself questions. And the best thing I can first say is this, right? You got to be honest with yourself and know what you need,
Hmm. Do you need
right?
the money, mentorship? Do you need the quick momentum?
Yeah, exactly. So as we know that, YC, right? You can get up to $500,000. It's a 3-month program. There's a demo day, but you're also going to give up to 7% equity in your company just for $125,000. If you need 250,000, you just gave up 14%,
Right.
right?
But if you start applying, you'll have to wait kind of a long time to, figure out if you're going to be accepted into the program or before it begins. So you might as well start applying, and then maybe between then and now, you may decide not to go that direction and go the Techstar direction, and you can always
Yeah,
withdraw your application.
exactly. And Techstar is going to be less. They're only want 6%, but they also invest less too, right? They're typically up to $120,000, $100,000 convertible note, which I'm not 100% happy with. But they also have demo days too.
That's right.
So as I mentioned, right, you have to be honest with yourself. You have to know where you lack, right? What are you good at? What are you bad at? And then you also have to look. A lot of people say, "Well, I'm good at this is, but I'm bad at that." Okay, that's great. But also the other thing that people forget to look at is their bandwidth, right? How much time they have to actually focus on this versus, other things.
Yeah. So be honest with yourself and definitely make sure that you're aligning with the right incubator.
Right,
Right?
right.
I
So
mean, it would be so cool to have like some people on our show where they could actually tell us from firsthand experience which one they used, what they liked about it, what they didn't, and their experiences. I think that we would be able to benefit if we had a real life story.
I am so on board with that. If you've been through one, please reach out to Lisa or myself and let's have a conversation on the Biz Show about your experience.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Wouldn't it?
Give you some PR too.
It would be some PR for your company.
That's right. So give us a call or reach out on Facebook. We have a InvestQuire and the Biz Show page on Facebook and Instagram. And then, of course, we have our website, investacquire.com.
You said it all, Lisa.
That's right,
Awesome.
everybody. Thank you for listening. And our numbers are growing, but don't forget to hit the subscribe button.
Yes, please. Just the algorithm, right? The more people that subscribe, the more times that Spotify and Amazon and Apple and Google will then put us in the searches. So, you know, we have 32,000 listeners now, but we probably got about 200 subscribers across all the platforms.
Oh,
So,
amazing. Thank you guys for all chiming in. We appreciate you.
yes. All right, guys, you guys have a great day, and we will talk to you next week.
Make it a great day. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Biz Show podcast. Subscribe to stay updated and follow Barry and Lisa on Facebook at The Biz Show. Share your comments or suggest specific business topics you'd like to hear. Bye!